Hello, this is Dirrdevil. I'm playing Subnautica on PlayStation 5. I want to give a tour of my main base before I finish this playthrough. Just have the community rate my base, so it's a little my game. This is my second playthrough of Subnautica. Previously completed on the PS4 version. I was playing PS5 version second, so I get the trophies for both versions. PS5 has been much more enjoyable. The PS4 version got very laggy, but as you'll see, this version's got a little bit laggy with this massive base I've built. And no crashes, at least. And I've also done a bunch of resource hoarding and lockers here. Here we go. It should be loading here any second. In this playthrough, I'd opted for one massive central base. On PS4 is trying to make multiple bases through each individual biome. And we're starting in an observatory in the grassy plateaus. And we get a nice shot of a reef back. Alright, so nice observatory, beautiful reef back sounds, chair. So part of my base design was essentially trying to roleplay a little bit of making a base that you could actually live at. Maybe Riley could come back to 4546B and actually have a home here, or build a business, or have some type of research team. So it's designed where multiple people could live, even though, of course, you're by yourself in the game here. Alright, we can see my prawn suit, the jumbo shrimp. And we can see a little bit more of the observatory section. Some stalkers. I like to have a nice variety of flora nearby. Alright, we're in our moon pool. Let's take a swim outside, look at the exterior a little bit. So we also have this hatch for entry.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Alright, so we have 3 moon pools here. I try not to have too long of any glass corridors by themselves. I feel like if it's just a mile of glass corridor, nothing interesting in between, it's just a little drab, a little unrealistic that you're just going to walk miles and miles and miles. I always like to have like a little way station of sorts. Maybe some booths, maybe some flora. So like we've got some benches here, like you walk all this way for the moon pool before you can climb up a ladder here. Why not take a seat at this bench? Alright, this is just where it happened to load, but let's actually start on another side of the base. And we'll see a bunch of stuff, but we'll go over more of it later. We're going to go back to the starting portion where I initially built my base, which is the safe shallows. I actually thought safe shallows right next to my life pod would be a cool place to start. I know it's not the most exciting, it's not the cove tree. So here's life pod 5. I wanted to start building a base right away because it's what I enjoyed most of my PS4 playthrough, which I never get to finish some of my grand designs or bases because of the lag there. So I like to just put a bunch of water and medkits and stuff. I got a coffee from a gift from another player through the time capsule there. I'm playing on the freedom mode because I find the food and water aspect just to be a distraction, just tedious for me when I'm trying to do immense like resource grinding. Alright, so this is one of my main entrances. This is where I started my base with just some foundations, some X platforms. You can see the Aurora over there. We've got many storage lockers labeled with lots of resources in it. So you see most of them are filled up. Plenty of medkits. Not that I'll need that many. And we're going to hatch some cuttlefish eggs. You'll see that I've collected all 5 from the main game, but I also got 2 through um, the time capsule system, even though they're supposed to be blacklisted. I guess they were older ones. I got my scanner room. We've got the 4 upgrades for range. I find range is the most important to give you the most visibility here on the map. Pretty much got lockers for everything, so no modules in here currently. Decor items. I tried to find every single decor item in the game. I think I possibly missed one microscope that didn't load at one of the life pods in the crack field. Deployables here. Tools. I try to keep a spare of every single tool that I need. And they all have ion batteries. You see them towards the end game, so there will be spoilers in this. All extra equipment, radiation suit, still suit, swim charge fins, a rebreather, wearing a rebreather and some med kits here. Alright, so let's just go down these main halls. These are a bit of a maze. It's just 2 parallel halls, but it starts to look identical, easy to get lost. But, see, you just got a little bit of everything: titanium, ingots, plasteel. So I could build quite a bit of stuff. And because this is actually survival mode, everything I forwarded here is actually found by me. It's not loaded in with console commands. It's not freedom mode. I actually had to farm all this mesh into like... you don't need multiple modification stations, but again, it's for the roleplay of like if Riley brings back a science team later on. You could have multiple members work at multiple stations as needed. So, I used to store a spare fish here before I had some extra rooms, storing some floaters. We can go on top here and see the solar power array. I think I have 40 plus solar panels, not sure the exact amount. It doesn't matter which way they face, but I try to get them facing all different ways, just because, and if we were really using them in real life, like, I'm not sure which way would be best. But you can come up here and check out the solar panels. I've made the roof access so it was easier for me to build them as we got up on there. I like to put a lot of hatches everywhere so you can easily go in and out various ways. Down, up, out the sides. And then another surface hatch. I found building on the surface to be a nice place to start. You don't have to worry about hull stability. Glass doesn't affect anything, so you can build a lot of glass. Doesn't ruin your stability, and it's probably the best way to start a big base like this. And of course, reinforcements, bulkheads, they don't do anything above the surface. And I figured if you were on this planet, you wouldn't want to be underwater all the time. So let's go over to the first cafeteria build. It's kind of a mini cafeteria for 4 people. You got 4 seats, 4 vending machines, 8 trash cans, some plants to decor, 2 coffee machines, 2 more here. So this is kind of like my initial portion of the base that I built before anything else. These long halls I just added on, made a little cafeteria. Playing survival, of course, I don't eat or drink anything, but again, in theory, building a base, you would want to have access to food and water. So let's go down first. So down here, just beneath the surface, it even registers we're 0 meters below. And it can be a little weird graphically where water will sometimes splash into the building here because it's just an awkward depth. When I put a reinforcement in, I try not to put too many reinforcements. I want to help increase hull stability, but usually if there's just not a good view, either put the wall planter or a reinforcement. Otherwise, if it's a better, nicer view, put a window. Put some bulkheads, try to put them around as much as I can. I feel like they don't really destroy the aesthetics of base, but we got 4 water filtration machines. You probably wouldn't need this much in an actual playthrough, but if you were going to host a whole community of staff here, you want to want as much water production as possible. And we can see a nice natural geyser. I think it's the only one here in the safe shallows, and luckily my life pod's been close to it. We'll check that out soon. But yeah, why did I build the water filtrations? They're noisy and they could be blinding light. This is not something you would want to have like right next to your main dining area, just a little tucked out the way. That and the nuclear reactors are pretty noisy. Okay, so let's go up. Also, something I like to do is sometimes you're going up and down ladders, going different floors. You can be confused, like which way am I facing? So sometimes having a window one way and a wall planted the other way, it can kind of help you keep track of which direction is which. Alright, got a nice view. Here's many of the posters. Put a radio. Again, you don't need but like one radio in your base, but for roleplay purposes, I put a radio in different places. So in a big base like this, if there was multiple staff members living here, you could, use the radio to communicate to people in other parts of the base. Same with medkits, just having like a medkit near your bedroom in case you had an accident or something. You don't want to go to one end of the base just to get a medkit. So I've got some posters. I stored a bunch of excess water. That's something you would want to have stored on hand, as much water as possible. Get the large filtered water. And then some lockers. This is labeled Captain. This is my initial captain's quarters. I try to put stuff that you would need, like you would need storage for your stuff. You would want a battery charger to recharge your batteries. Some of the decor items. Got everything in the roar. Got everything from all the optional racks. Again, I think on my checklist of every possible decor item, there was maybe one microscope that spawned by the unmarked life pod in Cragfield. I'm not sure if I ever picked that up. Could have, but I've been there multiple times, don't see it. Could have just not loaded. Got a bulbo tree here. Got some grass. Nice open glass dome. The only thing I've come to dislike is I've built the base up. We'll go over to that raised portion later. It's like, the windows don't give you much privacy. Where would you change? You're in your room here, and then people from across the way could see you, so it's the only downside. This is my initial captain's quarters, but I've come up with some other designs, but I didn't delete this one. This is still a nice room. Alright, and so both these loop around. I like to make two entrances, because who would want to walk past these ladders every day when you could just walk this way unobstructed? But before we go outside, let's actually go down this hall. So we have lockers for all of the plants. Bulbo trees, Chinese potatoes, fern plants, grub baskets, Jaffa cups, lantern trees, marble melons, Ming plants, pink caps, spotted rattlers, voxel shrubs, and then seeds for the small plants that take up 1 by 1 tile. Voxel shrubs can only come in seeds, so they're just filled up here, but you can see we're pretty much filled up in everything else. For the 4x4 or 2x2 plants, I put some other things just to fill it up and kind of matched them up here. So we got marble melons, lantern trees. This is our indoor garden. A lot of stuff is decorative, but we got a big marble melon patch because, again, you need a good constant supply of food resources. You also get the lantern tree. I believe you can eat the bulbo tree as well. And then outside, we also got some plants against the Chinese potatoes out there that we don't have in here. But you have garden both indoors and outdoors. If there was bad weather, like there was in the floating island for the Degrassi crew, at least you got some indoor stuff that will probably survive the storm. Nice open glass ceiling, so this still gets natural light. We're gonna go through here. There's another little exit hatch. Love just popping these anywhere where there's not a foundation beneath it already. Just different places to enter next to the base at ease.
Captain.
But here's a little garden. I try to keep everything small in here, so if you're sitting here, this is like a nice group setting where people could hang out. Nothing really obstructing their view from other people. You sit down. Nice for like a little party. A chair where you can just kind of sit, reflect, look at the Aurora rack to yourself. you have to put the chairs so far back in Subnautica, anything closer, and they just won't work. So, looks a little awkward, this little space, but otherwise, anything closer, you just can't sit down. So, this is more, like, even though there's some marble melons here, this is more just decor. There's some decor in this room, but this is a place where to get plenty of food. And of course, you get the vending machines. Okay, we've got that direction to go, but I think we'll go there at night. There's some stuff I want to show at nighttime. Alright, let's go down. Oh, another hatch here. While we're at it, let's look at some garden areas. We got our acid mushrooms. We got some deep mushrooms. And spoilers, but if you're looking to make the hatching enzymes, you'll need sea grounds, eye stalks, ghostweed, pygmy bulb bushes. Say hi to that peeper. We also need mushroom samples, but you can't grow those. You can only farm them from the mushroom forest trees by cutting them, but you can't actually plant them, so 4 of the 5 resources need just growing right here. And 2 moon pools. Of course, radio medkits. I've got 6, yes, I believe 6 sea moths. They're all share a naming scheme with something drop. This is the moon drop, which looks pretty pimped out. They all have different upgrades. This has the Mark III def module, engine efficiency, perimeter defense, and sonar. Got some battery chargers. Oh, we also notice, you see that green? They are using ion cells. So, much better than the ion cells, not the power cells. Second moon pool. This one is the lemon drop. It's got the Mark III def module, hull reinforcement, perimeter defense, and the torpedo system. I believe it also has some torpedoes loaded up front. I think it has both the vortex and the gas torpedo. 3 vortex, 3 gas. So lemon drop is sour. So sour, it's got all the weapons and defenses. So we've got some advanced modification bays, some more power cell chargers. Don't have a lot of spare torpedoes. I never really used them. I just built each of my Seamoths with different combinations of upgrades to just have some variety. Of course, you can just jump out here. So we saw this small farm of hatching enzymes and mushrooms. So let's look at some other stuff that we got growing. Gel sacks. Got plenty of those. We've got regular creepvine kelp. We got the blood vines for blood oil. Plenty of those. And I built these a little bit lower because you can see how blindingly bright they are. I didn't want to put them up the same level because that light will shine through the walls and just kind of ruin the aesthetic a little bit. But you can see the facility from quite a bit away. Oh, that stalker started. Maybe some of the stalkers around here are released from alien containment union, so they're not actually aggressive, but they still startle me from time to time. But yeah, this one has the clusters growing. So again, you can farm all kinds of resources from here. And while we're outside, let's take a look at some of our sea moths. This is the gumdrop. Where is our modification panel? This one, I believe, just has storage and a solar charger, which is why it's not in the moon pool. They can charge right here. So, not very defensive, can't really protect you anyway. This is for safe trips where you just want to fill up with your sea moth. A little further away, this is our 4th sea moth, the sun drop. Hull reinforcement, perimeter defense system, solar charger, and storage model. A little bit of everything. So these 2 sea moths have solar chargers. All the others will have engine efficiency modules, or just other types of stuff. But so this is one of the few thermal spots you can find in the safe shallows, if not the only one. It's very dangerous. The blast goes up pretty often and will damage you, especially before you get the reinforced suit. But even with that, Um, but we've got some thermal power going to our system. Try to get down in there. You see I'm getting damaged now. There are some little side tunnels here. These usually have some resources, but they're all farmed out. You need some power transmitters to get it connected to the base. But between that and the solar power, we have lots of reusable power. And build those first, because if you build those before the others, it'll use those sources before the others. It'll use the solar and the thermal before using the expendable stuff through the bio or nuclear reactors. Alright, well, let's go in a different entrance. So I like to have entrances on every side for convenience sake. Wherever direction you're coming from, you can easily get in and out of the base, go to where you're going. This could use some more wall lockers, I think. It looks a little bare compared to everything else. But here are all my aquatic flora. We looked at the garden section with the terrestrial flora. Got blue palm seeds, bulb bushes, cave bushes, eye stalks. Oh, those are the mushroom fungal samples that you can't actually grow. Frilled papyrus, cave's feathers, ghost weeds, jelly shrooms, membrane trees, redworts. A little awkward to get these behind the ladder, but we have regress shells, rouge cradles, sea crowns, spiked horngrass, spotted dockleaf, tiger plant. I never grow that because they're annoying and they'll attack your own base. Violet bow, and then just seeds of the 1x1 vein nettles, pygmy fan seeds, writhen reed seeds, and you'll see that the gaps in any of these spaces where you can't fit more in the 2x2s, I just filled it up with a little bit of each. Just like the terrestrial flora, I try to have like lockers have an equal amount of the pygmy fan seeds, an equal amount of the vein nettles, an equal amount of the writhing reeds, so I just try to match them as best they could. If they're used for the hatching enzymes like eye stalks are, they get the fungal samples, so the sea crowns will get those, the ghost weed will get those. So I kind of have an internal system like which of these type of seeds go in these bigger lockers. Okay, so another little hatch here. Well, that's a little disorienting. Another way to get Cuckoo down, but let's go up. It won't tell us our altitude, but we're a little above the surface here. Got a nice view. This is what I was saying about the captain quarters I built over there earlier. Not really have any privacy. I guess here you don't have much privacy from them either, even though I guess right here they couldn't quite see you. So we have 4 multi-purpose rooms across from each other. Bulkheads don't do anything above the surface, but I built them with the idea of like you could shut the door to your bedroom. So not for stability, but for privacy. And also because the rooms are in like a perpendicular compass fashion, I put the wall planters here rather than windows, so you can't quite see the other rooms. When the door is shut, you get some privacy, but you still have windows. Get a nice see-through dome. It could be for 1 or 2 people here with a partner. You could have 2 tables, 2 desks. You see we've got carry-alls in each bag, caps, counters. Every room is themed with a different plant. So this one's Chinese potato. You got some shelves here. Each one has their own storage lockers. Obviously, even though the game will fit one, I don't like putting one behind a door. But this is to the east. So these are the east lockers where the person in the east room could store their stuff. It's themed with the green color. Got some ion batteries here, a battery charger. You got a radio. Safety. Just got some fire extinguishers. It'd be so nice if you could actually mount them on the wall. Not that you'll really need them, but like the idea of building like a safe base stocked with medkits, fire extinguishers, excess water. And I would love to have like a fire extinguisher just for decor. We got a fabricator, excess water. It's actually not that much considering there's 4 rooms kind of sharing this storage. This is the soft room, so their lockers are themed red. They get the fern plant, but otherwise pretty identical layout. They get the carryall and the cap. We go to the west room, which is themed yellow for their lockers to keep them separate. They get bulbul trees, but they get the carryall, the cap. You can see the Neptune, my rocket, and that's actually ready to take off. I'm really at the very end of the game, just procrastinating building a giant base here. And then we got the north room. So themed blue for the lockers. Again, these lockers aren't really storing anything. It's more so for roleplay. If there was a team living here, they'd have individual lockers where they could store their stuff. And you can see the floating island off in the distance, obscured by the clouds that only part when you get closer. Got the carryall and the cap. They have Ming plants for their room, so you can kind of tell which room you're in if you get to know the colors. And I think mine here. Okay. And another thing you'll see is hatches. So there's a hatch here in the south, the west, and the north. You don't have in the east because this has the base directly beneath it. So if you had a hatch here, you could build one. You would fall straight down onto the hallway that leads up to this ladder, and you would just fall onto a hard surface. So a bit asymmetrical, but no hatch here. But let's say there was a fire or some type of disaster, and you need to get out in a hurry. Can't go down a ladder. Ploop. In there. So there's a hatch. There's a hatch. There's a hatch. But you see, this is the hall that doesn't have a hatch, because boom, you drop out, splat, right in the middle. Not good.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
If you go to the top here, that's another way to walk around. You won't see any solar panels in this part because these would be obscured by the buildings above. This would be blocking the light. Yeah, it might still get some light, but the solar panels wouldn't be too efficient. Right now it's nighttime, so we can't really tell really well, but I didn't put any past here because of I felt like there's too much overcast on the solar panels. And I built this much later. We'll go in this part. This is a further extension that leads to the grassy plateaus area of the base that was built much later into the run. But I don't want to put solar panels on the glass. It just ruins the aesthetic. You want it to have glass so you can look straight up into the sky. And even though this part does kind of overhang the glass. Put as many windows as possible where a solar panel wouldn't go. We can see that mushroom farm and the hatching enzymes from here. We can see our two moon pools just beneath the surface. There's our Neptune. Oh, well, let's see if we can walk on top of this little dome here. Okay, we can't jump up there. Alright, let's go back up to this, the top rooms, climb this ladder. We can also go up a top hatch here. But I do have solar panels up here. You know what, I could build 4 more if I wanted. I like building them on these seams. I don't want to build them too close to the window where they obstruct the window's view. But I could put 1 here, 2, 3, 4. Not going to though. But yeah, I built a hatch just so you could get up here and get pretty high, but also it's easier to build the solar panels. Actually, these solar, I don't think you could build them unless you had a hatch to access up here. Alright, let's just jump down and not hit. Okay, let's see. So this is the water purification room from the outside. Got that view of the geyser right here. These are our gardens right above us. And let's look at some of these gardens. So because foundations can't be centered properly, which is a big OCD quirk of mine. I couldn't get them exactly right, so this side is a little smaller, this side's a little bigger, and I made two different types of gardens here. So this garden is like all the plants, where it's just one type of plant per planter, but these are all the 2x2 plants, minus the ones for hatching and sun. So the sea crowns, ghostweed, eye stalks, and bulb bushes aren't featured here because they're in the other section. But this is all the other types in the game. So you get cave bushes, regress shells, membrane trees, Gabe's feather, furled papyrus, spiked horngrass. These two, furled papyrus, spiked horngrass, aren't bioluminescent. So I put a light here to try to make them show up better at night. But they're the two plants that just don't show up well at all. Jelly shroom, spotted dock leaves, rouge cradles, red wart, violet bow, and blue palm. Now this one was inspired by someone who sent me a time capsule. Let's see if we can find the particular. This shot here really inspired me to do something like this for like last thing with a garden. And this one's more chaotic. I think roughly each of the regular 2x2 plants has equal representation throughout here. I try to keep the amount of certain plants roughly equal to each other, but they're just kind of randomly planted. So we can see all types of different things. Some of the one-by-one plants like mushrooms, pygmy fans, vein nettles, writhing reeds, gel sacks, creep vine, both with and without clusters, blood vine. All the other plants in the game, including the hatching enzyme types like bulb bushes, sea crowns. Just a little bit chaotic, and we'll walk through it later when it's nighttime again and walk through that tunnel and see it from the inside. This one I think is much prettier garden than the other one, but it's kind of like yin and yang. This is nice and orderly, one plant per planter. This is pure chaos, but actually it's much more beautiful of the two. Okay. We can enter through a few different spots, but I think let's go through this hatch. Put some wall planters here. Just gonna get in this nice greenery section. These are the dorms, built with these walls in between. So we got some photos. I try to do a bit of a theme. These are like pleasant photos. You got a nice sunset from the base. You got a bit of an eclipse. You can see the grand wreath. You get the cove tree. This office is just the inactive lava zone. You got a reaper skeleton. You got the time the sea dragon was hiding outside the cave near the thermal facility. Sea dragon was eating something. I think you see a bit of a station shot. I would think it was coming after me, and I tried to shoot it, but I think I missed. But it was eating some little fish. And a dead sea dragon. I ended up killing all three of them because they kept annoying me. So I know it was against the spirit Subnautica, but I did make the species go extinct. It was going extinct anyway, so. This one, all about our buddy the Sea Emperor. So, like I said, spoilers. Some just nice pictures. Clearing away the warp gate. Getting ready for its eggs to hatch. The babies with some enzyme 42. I wish I got some better pictures of the Sea Emperor babies. And this is stuff at the Lost River. Ghost Leviathan coming for me. Swimming through this skeleton remains right in between the ribs to come get me. This extinct species that we can't identify. This is the gargantuan Leviathan skull. And a fucking stupid, the name is blanking on me, the little, Mesmer. Hate those little fucks. You can see that I wanted it to purposely get hit by the Mesmer thing, get that distorted Mesmer effect around me just so I could get it in the photo. So 4 different little alcoves to study at or work at. Then we have these 4 dormitory style spaces with signs, alpha, beta, and other side gamma and delta. Now they're not perfectly sealed. You're kind of sharing a space with somebody else. You get some privacy, but not that much. It's kind of a college environment. Everyone gets a different poster. So Alpha gets the Natural Selection 2 poster, Beta gets the Keep Calm poster, they get theme lockers, different colors. So the one locker, one's numbered 1, filled with water, 2's filled with medkits, 3 and 4 are unique for each person, where they're stored with something that's kind of color coded, like the bleach bottles are red, their lockers are red. And then he has building materials like ingots, plasteel, and enameled glass. They get a carry-all, they get shelves, a counter, a trash can, their own radio, their own medkit, fabricator, everything they need. Fortunately, just a single bed for them. You got this multi-tiered aquarium, which is empty. This, as we'll see later, is not a waste, because we've got some other alien containment units and stuff. I was thinking this alien containment unit could be used in theory for just putting stuff in isolation when you need to. Like, it's like you discover a new species or you want to study something, you could put stuff in there. So there's no plants, there's no animals in there. Of course, it does take away some privacy. You can kind of see up into the bedroom through it, but I thought it was too cool to pass up on. I don't think you can actually sit in these benches. There's not enough space. Also, each person gets a different little plant here. Spotted rattler, voxel shrub. So, in the 1 lockers they got water. 2 lockers got medkits. 3, you got kyanite, something that matches the color of the locker. Blue for beta, they get kyanite. And if I could just click the actual locker, there we go. They've got like fabricated materials, bleach, aerogel, lubricant. Now that I think about it, the bleach is redundant because I got a whole locker of bleach over here. They got their own radios. We'll go around this side. So different plant. This side gets the pink cap. This one gets a marble melon. This is the gamma room. Green lockers. Water in locker 1. Locker 2 gets medkits. Locker 3 gets something green. I wish I had 2 more iron cubes to fill this out. They have all the chemical stuff, so they've got hydrochloric acid, polyaniline, and benzene. So the 4th locker in each room's got some type of material that you need to collect, and they try to do the themes. These 2 are a pair, so this has got the prawn suit on land. This one's got the prawn suit on sea. Again, they both have a battery charger to share. They have their own trash cans, counters, carry-alls, med kit, fabricator, regular fabricator, and a radio to share. So, locker 1, large water. Locker 2, medkits. Locker 3, they think purple, so aerogel. And locker 4, they have some other materials, things that are kind of like rolls, fiber mesh, silicone rubber, synthetic fibers. So yeah, these are the dorms. It is a tight space to hear the walls. This would be cool to build underwater because these walls do add to stability, but they don't do anything above the surface, and we're still above the surface for now. It's a little confusing which way to go for which facility when you come out. I get a little mixed up. So not only are the rooms labeled Gamma and Delta, the other side Alpha and Beta, we can see this is going towards lab and this is going towards the cafeteria. So we know the cafeteria, 4 seats, 4 rooms. But let's go to the lab. Alright, we can go downstairs in a bit. Got some windows. So here are all the sample analyzers, large flasks, fluid analyzers, microscopes, cylindrical flasks. I'm pretty sure I have, if not everything, maybe 1 microscope short of all the stuff you can find within the Aurora and the smaller wrecks across all the biomes and the Degassi bases. But you get some chairs, you got some counters. stand at, but if you want to do science work, this is where you could do it. Bring in fluids and samples to do stuff. So this is what I was talking about when I wanted to build a functioning base for like a scientific team to come back to 4.5, 4.6b and not just live at, survive at, but you can actually, you know, study the planet. Except sea dragons because they're all extinct. We go down one floor. This is another like communal dining space. You might see this quite a bit. I like putting lantern fruits, not only the edible, they're bioluminescent. I feel like they're just a good decor piece and they're really big and they stick out quite a bit. They're a tree, so I don't like putting them by the side because they kind of glitch into the wall a little bit. It doesn't look right if they're a branch is sticking through a window or a wall. Down here in the center, they were perfect, but this is just a place you can come hang out with a big group of people, a bigger team than just a four-person staff. But you can hear that hum already. We're hearing the nuclear reactor, so not the most relaxing part. Kind of noisy. They're just so fucking noisy. Oh, and just some coffee stations for people to hang out and drink. And then vending machines for to get your food. And we got some bioreactors. They should all be full. I tried to fill them all with oculuses and originally because they're the most energy efficient fish, but eventually I started to fill them with other fish too, just overstock of different biomaterial. Oh, this one's used up some. And no, I'm not putting the cuttlefish eggs in there. So we got some aquariums. We've got filled with bladderfish in this one. Reginald's in this one. Reginald's are the most nutritious. Bladderfish are the most hydrating. So we got food and water fish kind of paired together here. We got the oculuses or oculi and the peepers, which are the most closely related. I'm not going to take any of these and put them into the bioreactor because the aquariums don't populate. If you put 2 fish in here, leave the rest of the room empty, they won't produce more. They only do that in the actual alien containment unit. Hatch goes outside. That's the water filtration room. And that's the captain quarters above us. That's the cafeteria. You can use the hatches to quickly get from room to room, or the ladders. So let's go down another floor. Be careful, this can cause epileptic seizures. The blinding light, the water filtration sometimes, if all 7 of these go off at the same time. I don't have a problem with like blinding lights at all, but one time I opened the door and it did like nearly knock me out. So again, these are noisy, these are bright. I try to keep the door shut. I don't think that shutting the door actually mutes the sound like it would in real life. But places to put excess salt. And places to put more water. We could start taking these out and filling it up actually. Let's do that. The ability to produce a lot of water is nice, but you also want a bunch of water ready to go for drinking. These are very power intensive, as you probably know. But if you did have a crew of like, you know, 4, 8, 12 people, you want as much water on hand as you could possibly get. You don't want to be fighting over a couple of bottles just being pumped out. You wouldn't have a stock ready to go. Alright, so this is the second floor down. It's really the 3rd floor. It's the second one below the surface. More aquariums. We've got whole fish. We've got spadefish. We got more peepers. Just random biomass. Anything organic that go into the reactors. We have enzyme peepers, and we could collect 2 more to fill up that tank. We got our hoop fish. And we got our spinefish, which are kind of the cousin of the hoop fish. We got our Gary fish. More biomass. And our hoverfish. Everyone's favorite fish. We got bioreactors. That's pretty full. That's not full. Okay, maybe we should. Alright, let's get into this tank. Let's drop off our cuttlefish and hatch them, get that trophy. And make sure we don't actually put them in the bioreactor by mistake. Let's take a bunch of this crap. Oh, that perfectly fit my inventory. How convenient. I don't care about the most energy efficient thing. I've got more than enough energy to fill things up. As you can see, I've got 22,050 energy. Alright, so more aquariums here, some windows. Let's go back up a floor and look at something I didn't look at before. Alright, so this is the second floor, first one beneath the surface. So I just got some glass, and these like little glass balconies. You can see not only the garden, but just beyond that, the kelp forest. You can see the moon pools over there, and you can even see some of my base in the distance. And you can see that thermal vent. You can see more of the safe shallows and more of the kelp vine forest in this little garden. Pretty nice. Oh yeah, because there are hatches in every little tank, you can also just swim down to any floor you want to on the inside. You don't have to swim down from the outside. Alright, we'll fill up that bioreactor. We'll fill up this bioreactor. Okay, that one's good. Alright. Alright, so first floor, got the little glass balconies. We got the lunchroom out that way. Some aquariums, some vending machines, some coffee machines, 2 bioreactors. This one we have more aquariums, more bioreactors, just windows, no balconies. Put some reinforcements behind the tanks. I figured we need to put some reinforcements in our base somewhere. And really, I don't want a window behind the tank. I'm looking at the aquarium. I don't want to be looking at the aquarium and past it, so good spots for them. Some biomass lockers. I could use more of those and fill them up. And then this is our third floor down. So we've got some more aquariums. We have the red boomerang or magma ring from the inactive lava zone. We got our regular boomerangs, the cousin of the magma rings. Try to keep them themed, keep them close to each other. Then we have the eye, and we have the red eye from that inactive lava zone. So this side here we got red eye across from it, magma ring, so another inactive lava zone creatures on this side. It's getting darker. I was hoping it'd be nighttime by the time I got down here so we could actually really see the bioluminescence of the gardens. But we got these hatches to come in and out of, and we got this hatch to go back in the hallway from the dorms to the cafeteria. These two are so close they work, but I think they often skip the animation. Sometimes they're too close and they'll skip that animation. Got these neat little tunnels here. There's my prawn suit, the jumbo shrimp again. Okay, it's getting properly dark. Let's go back to the 3rd floor. Let's look at something else inside here. So through these bulkheads, we've got the nuclear reactor. The fucking loud ass hum. Alright, we got 4 reactor rods. We've got a large storage unit of reactor rods. And keep in mind, again, I made these all myself, collecting the actual resources. No cheats, no input codes, console commands. So we're uranite, more uranite, trash can, more uranite. It's such a confusing word. Why can't they just call it uranium? Another one. And I think this is partial. No, it's fully filled reactor rods. Okay. Yeah, we're not running out of power. Instead, we got 2 full lockers of uranite, 4 large lockers of 2 large lockers of reactor rods, 4 of the uranite. You also need glass and lead and titanium for those. Got a radio, got a med kit, got a radiation suit and fire extinguishers. Of course, in the game, no issues actually happen. There's no fires, there's no danger from the thing, and you don't actually have to wear the radiation suit to touch reactor rods. So yeah, just grab one, it doesn't do anything to you. The databank says you need to wear one, but you actually don't. You can actually... Oh, I can't take it back out. But I have taken out one depleted rod and put it in here, and you did not need to wear a radiation suit, just FYI. I try to put this as far away from the main base as I could for my initial base design, the bottom floor at the most distant point, because if something did happen, again, more roleplay wise than reality of the gameplay, just would want it as close to the living quarters as possible. Alright, now that it's dark, we can walk through the garden. I think it's just nice. Again, credit to CT16888270098 for that inspiration. I knew I wanted a garden, but that picture really inspired the rest. We're back here when these cuttlefish grow up. Alright, let's check these bioreactors, and they definitely need some stuff. What about this one? Wow. The locker had enough stuff to fit my inventory exactly, and then it had enough to fit in all the bioreactor slots exactly. So there's 6 bioreactors here. And they were built after the thermal, which is built after the solar, and the nuclear reactor is built last. Okay. So that's most of this side of the base. This was like the main area for most of the time. It started with these halls and the cafeteria, the captain quarters above it, the moon pool down here. Then later I built those large rooms, stacked them up, and then I just got more and more ambitious at the base. Oh, so we got water. We got some nutrient blocks. I can't actually eat these, and I can't actually cook any fish in survival mode. Not that I need to, but I would love to fill some lockers with some actual food. We got gel sacks. We've got blood oil and benzene. We got tube coral. We have bleach, which again, we don't really have a use for in the game. We have salt. Oh, we showed the plasteel. We got lubricant. We have mesh. Let's see. We got copper wires, computer chips, wire kits, advanced wire kits, ion batteries, regular batteries, ion cells, power cells. And you notice all the stuff, my prawn, we'll see the cyclops there, all the sea moths, they all have ion cells. Purple tablets, blue tablets, orange tablets, and ion cubes. We're coming up on 60 minutes. I'm going to do another recording in a bit, so we're going to wrap it up a second. We got gold, more gold, copper, copper, quartz, quartz, silver, lead, glass, enameled glass. This might be partial. No, it's full. Okay. Lithium, diamonds, rubies, some deep mushrooms, and we have the farms outside. Same with the acid mushrooms. Table coral. I was using it to store fish, but they ended up in the aquarium, so it's empty. Crystalline sulfur, cave sulfur. I could fill it up with another 6 or 7. Stalker teeth. And again, I could fill this up with gas pods and make some more torpedoes. Fill up the floater's locker. Aerogel. Benzene. Hydrochloric acid. Polyaniline. And synthetic fibers. So I try to get a couple lockers of every single resource, every core item, basically everything in the game. I'm trying to make every piece of equipment, every tool. Stuff I'm not going to use, like the water filtration chute or the Pathfinder. Put an ion battery in every single one of those tools. Like, you can see these are ion battery. And then I have spares all the tools, and they do have ion batteries and stuff in here. I've got extra batteries, power cells, all kinds of stuff, flares. And to be honest, I was gifted some through these time capsules, which I'm pretty grateful for. Alright. I think these halls would do better with some stuff. More lockers. Some creep vines, some extra mesh. Creep vine clusters, extra mesh. Hatching enzyme. I could fill this up, though it just takes so much more work than I've already done. Extra stuff that you produce, you know, all these materials. I think these are just extra space to fill stuff up as I need to move stuff around. Scanner room, again, you can see that floating island off in the distance there. And let's end part 1 right here as we approach an hour.